The public hearing for the fiscal year 24 budget for Dixon County School Board is now in session. For the record, I'd like to recognize that all our school board members are present, as well as Tanya Baker, Board Clerk, and Ms. Robinson, Division Superintendent. At this time, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any additions or revisions to the agenda?
Mr. President, there are no changes to the agenda.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussions? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Our first agenda item is presentation update on the fiscal year 24 budget. Ms. Taylor.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you for being here with us this evening. This is our second meeting of March, so I appreciate your time. We'll start with the proposed budget. You have a copy of this presentation. You also have a copy of the actual budget document, and that looks like this. We went over the proposed budget line by line in the budget workshop. I won't be going over it line by line this evening, only in the areas that have changed, but we'll be going over it in summary format, and if there's anything that you want me to go over in more detail, just please let me know. I'd be glad to do that. Okay. The total proposed budget as of today is still $35,650,713. VDOE, of course, has not released final calculation tools because the Virginia State budget has not been adopted in final form. They did adjourn on February the 25th without adopting a full state budget, and negotiations continue. We are working off of a skinny budget currently. There's also a House version of the budget bill and a Senate version of the budget bill being negotiated. The Dickinson County Public Schools draft budget is based off of the House version of the budget bill. The House version lists state funding for Dickinson County Public Schools at $20,453,542. We are expecting an additional state-funded school security grant in the amount of $150,000. The Senate version of the budget bill includes $1,105,018 in additional funding if it is passed. Both versions do contain a 7% compensation increase for the 205.7 state-funded SOQ positions at Dickinson County Public Schools. And just a note there that Dickinson County Public Schools currently has 337 full-time positions, which is 131.3 over the SOQ-funded positions. The next slide, the proposed budget includes salary scale adjustments from 7 to 9%. Plus step raises for all full-time Dickinson County Public Schools positions, which is 337, and an average of 5% increase in part-time rates. The proposed budget includes $3,072,662 in federal ESSER reimbursements. And these are allocated for personnel additions to address learning loss, summer school personnel, before and after school remediation, the mentor teacher program, contract services for student therapeutic day treatment counseling, 2 school buses that were ordered in 2022 that are delayed by the manufacturer, and virtual program expenses. Slide number 4, we'll start talking about state revenue. And this is based on the Virginia Department of Education's projected ADM, or average daily membership, of 1,841.25 students. That makes the state share of funding $20,453,542. The required local effort, which is our minimum SOQ amounts, $3,773,345. The required local match with incentive programs is $5,043,065. Slide number 5 will give you a list, and it's not all inclusive, but it hits the main notes of the categorical and incentive programs, and those are the ones that have the additional match that's required that adds up to the RLM. That includes the compensation supplement, at-risk funding, Virginia Preschool Initiative, K through 3 class size reduction, re-benchmarking hold harmless funding, early reading intervention, SOL algebra readiness, and the infrastructure and operations per pupil allocations. Okay, the next slide will just direct you. These will be on the PowerPoint presentation. If it's hard for you to see, you do have a full, clear copy of that budget document here, and I will let you know which page we are on as we go through. Slide number 7 is page 1 of the proposed budget document. These show our state revenues. State funding for SOQ programs, that subtotal is $14,736,893. Subtotal for incentive programs, $3,887,539. Subtotal for categorical programs, $38,263. Lottery-funded programs, subtotal is $1,940,846. That's the total state funding of $20,603,542, which includes that additional state grant for school security. If you'll move forward to slide number 8. Our total federal revenue, $6,223,306. Of that amount, food services is $1,500,000. As mentioned previously, the ESSER funding is estimated at $3,072,662. There's a remaining $1,650,644 that is made up of our title programs, Perkins, and any other federal payments that we receive. Slide number 9 will point you to page 2 of your proposed budget document. And you'll see there that total federal funding, $6,223,306. We'll move forward to slide number 10. Our local appropriation request to Dickinson County is currently set at $5,841,833. The breakdown of that request is the required local match in the amount of $5,043,065 plus a request for funds for salary and wage increases in the amount of $798,768. Other grants and revenue expected, $298,900. And our carryover fund estimates at this point in time for 6/30/2023 is $2,683,132. The breakdown on that carryover estimate as of today is the state construction grant that was funded in this fiscal year and may be carried over. We have not spent any of those funds. That amount is $1,570,132. Operating carryover is estimated at $1 million. Dolly Parton Imagination Library funding, $25,000. GED testing funds, $18,000. And textbook funds, $70,000. Slide number 11 will point you to page 2 of your proposed budget document, and that is where those are listed. You'll see at the bottom of page number 2 in your budget document, it does come to a total of revenue $35,650,713. Okay, we'll move forward to expenses. Salaries and wages for fiscal year 23-24 are budgeted at $17,398,485. Payroll-related expenses, $10,611,514. The total of the two, salaries and wages and payroll-related expenses, gives us our total personnel-related expenses, $28,009,999. The ratio of personnel-related to total expenses is 79% of the budget. Normally, you will have that percentage will go somewhere between 80 and 85, but if you receive any other kind of additional funding, such as that for state construction or ESSER funding, that can make that percentage go up or down relatively to your personnel expenses. Now, our non-payroll related expenses is everything else in the budget. That amount is $7,640,714. That is 21% of our budget. We do have an update from the budget workshop. It's a revision to the expenditures. There has been $505,000 that has been moved to capital outlay. We moved those from contract services in the amount of $250,000 and materials and supplies in the amount of $255,000. The $500,000 of operating carryover has now been reserved for school construction for Ridgeview Elementary School. The additional $5,000 is for some requested athletic equipment. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Superintendent Robinson, and she can give you some more information about those changes.
Good evening, board members. In discussions with Scansco regarding the addition of the new classrooms, as you know, we are actively seeking the eligibility for the School Construction Assistance Program. That state construction grant will pay 30% of a construction package. So if our construction package for the new additional classrooms comes in at $5 million, then they will pay $1.5 million, $300,000 per million, approximately $1.5 million. What we're trying to do is then find the funding for the additional $3.5 million from sources. The good news is, of course, that we have the $1.5 million that has not been used, and we have that in construction. As you also know, we have unspent funds for the current classrooms at $850,000. I hope Ms. Taylor is adding that point. And then in talking, which would be about 2.2, Ms. Taylor, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And then we're also then looked at the operating funds in talking with Mr. Ellsworth, decided to move $500,000 to the construction. So that gives us approximately $3 million.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
It does. So if we should, we're working very diligently to get this grant, because that certainly will pay a whole lot for that. And then we are looking for the additional 70%. So that's where we are. Of course, we won't know about this until June. We feel that we are eligible because you have to have 65 points as a minimum to be eligible. We are well over that, but it is a competitive grant. So there are other options, I'm sure, that we will discuss if we don't get that $1.5 million state grant, what other options are there. But we're doing all that we can to make certain that we come up with the additional 70%. And so it's putting a large puzzle with small pieces together. So let me stop there and see if you have questions. So just to summarize, we have the $1.5 million from construction for this year that has not been used. We have moved an additional $500,000 to that, which makes that $2 million. And we have the unspent ESSER funds, three funds of $850,000, which leaves us nearly 2.8. And we think that our magic not magic number, but our goal is to at least have $3.5 million if we are awarded the grant from the state.
Mr. Robinson, I believe you've said in the past that as far as that construction grant goes, that the way they grade those, that we feel like we're pretty high on the priority list there.
Yes, sir, it does appear that way, but what I'm reminded of is that it's a competitive grant. So I don't know how many people are also applying for the grant and are as competitive. But I think the way that we are trying to write the application is that our goal and the board's goal is to consolidate all 3 elementary schools. And to do that, we will need additional classrooms to be built. So yes, to answer your question, it does, we are above the required 65 points that are needed. Other questions or comments? Again, the board, this was after a discussion, we're proposing this. You certainly have time to think about it, consider it before the final vote on the budget next week. But that's the reason that was moved, just to try to get to that magic number of 3.5 that we will need. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to slide number 13. Thank you, Superintendent Robinson. This is the screenshot of the expenditure budget. It is page 3 of your proposed budget document. I'm just going to hit the subtotals on that too, as we had gone over it in detail, and there are no changes from last week. The subtotal for salaries and wages again is $17,398,485. The subtotal for payroll-related expenditures, which is on your slide number 14, $10,611,514. Slide number 15 is our non-payroll-related expenditures. These are the items with changes. I will point those out to you. Purchase services is now budgeted at $850,000. Materials and supplies is now budgeted at $731,938. And capital outlay additions is now budgeted at $2,275,132. The subtotal for non-payroll related expenditures does stay at $7,640,714. And our total expenditures, which match our total expected revenues, $35,650,713. The following slides are summary information for you. This just kind of gives you a reference. These are all of the numbers that we have gone over. Total estimated state revenue, $60,603,542. State share of that, $20,453,542. School security equipment grant is $150,000. Our total estimated federal revenue, $6,223,306. Our local appropriation request is $5,841,833. Estimated other funds, $298,900. Estimated carryover funds, $2,683,132. Our total estimated revenue for fiscal year 23-24 is $35,650,713. And as we discussed last week, the one thing I can tell you with 100% certainty is that these numbers will change. So if there's anything, again, that you want to see, anything that you want looked at, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know about that. We are still waiting on a state budget. The outcome of that state budget will change our RLM numbers. So we do still have flexibility. And then once you actually adopt a budget, there is a very likely chance that it will need to be amended if the state budget is not in at that time. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer those. The next slide is just the summary of the expenditures, as we'd mentioned, also totaling $35,650,713. And we are at the end. So we just had those Those revisions in those 3 expenditure items, other than that, no change from last week's budget workshop, and I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Are there board members with any questions regarding the proposed budget? So you all scot-free. You did a very good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is comments from the public on the Dixon County Public Schools fiscal year 24 budget.
Did anyone sign up?
Did anyone sign up? Just a moment. Excuse me. Anyone sign up?
Hearing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing on the budget?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Our next regular school board meeting is Wednesday, March 22nd.
Wednesday, March 22nd.
At the March 22nd meeting, the school board will approve the fiscal year 24 budget. That meeting will be at 5 o'clock.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Public hearing first and then the meeting.
Yes, sir, we will have the public hearing for the PPA process at 5. Immediately after the public hearing, then we will adjourn that meeting and then reconvene. So both the meetings will still start at 5.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?